is a bit of provocative talk about why sustainable strategies are not enough, and what we have to do actually now. And just to introduce the topic, I put this slide here. This is the amount of carbon particles in the atmosphere. So you can see in the last 400 million years how it has changed. And also you can see that how in the past almost 1 million year, and mainly in the past after the ice age, how it was more stable and under this 400 parts per million. And as you can see here, this part that still it's blue, and the color is changing. This is 1970s. So this is the first slide that I wanted to show. So now today we are in around 412, 413 particles. So the second slide that I wanted to show, again to emphasize about 1970s, is this living planet index that is measuring actually the decline in the wildlife population. And as you can see here, our 1970 is the time that we accept it as 100% living index, but now we are below 25, 30. The third slide that I want to show is about the amount of resources that we use from the planet Earth and the Earth overshooting day. So if you look at 1970s, it's almost January 1, the Earth overshoot day, which shows that we use one planet Earth. So the planet Earth in 1970s is enough for our life. But as you can see today, in 2021, we are over 1.7 Earth, and the Earth shooting day is arriving towards July. So that means that Earth overshoot day becomes in July. So that means that all the resources that in 2021 planet Earth could produce, we consumed all of them until July. So the rest of the year, we are consuming the resources of future generations. So these three slides then that emphasize on 1970s, it shows us a strategy that was introduced mainly in 1970s about sustainability. Because in 1970s, when we were using one planet Earth, and one planet Earth was enough for us, sustainability was meaningful. So that means that we would sustainably use one planet Earth. When in 1970s we had living planet index in 100%, sustainability was meaningful to sustain the way that we were living. In 1970s, still we had more horizontal line of change in the carbon particles in the atmosphere, and it was really meaningful to sustain it. But we need now we are not in that condition. So what we have to do is the introduction of regenerative strategies. So here in this graphics, you see that the degenerative strategies in the bottom and the regenerative strategies in the top are differed from each other. So sustainable is almost close to zero. So to sustain the existing condition, but we need to have more positive impacts and to restore the ecosystems that we destroyed, to try to regenerate life on the planet, because loads of animals are extincted, loads of plants are extincted. We had a great amount of deforestation, great amount of desertification, and the life on the ocean, the life on the land, is dying and is dead. So what we need to do, we need to regenerate life. We need to increase biodiversity and all of these. And these are not possible just by taking sustainable strategies. I just want to give you an example how the life in any ecosystem works. So in any ecosystem, we have a carrying capacity, and any species that lives in any ecosystem, they face a slow growth at the beginning, and then a fast growth, and then towards the carrying capacity, the growth slows down and again comes to a very flat that flat movement that we call it a stable equilibrium. So this growth is not only the growth of population, but it is the growth of population and need, the population and the way that they consume. Because one frog never consume more than one frog. So it is not really meaningful in frogs or in any ecological life other than human beings, because probably human being is the only one that one human being can consume 10 or 100 times more than other human beings. So if we look at this, we don't have this in this graphic in our planet Earth and human population need, population and need, population plus need conditions. What we have in human conditions is, if this is the planet Earth's capacity, we are in 1.7 now in 2021, and this is a very dangerous condition that we have. We are going towards a big collapse, and either having more ecological solutions and more green solutions to reduce this speed, to grow slowly as it is planned in many of global north countries, or have low impact carbon or zero carbon or zero ecological footprint strategies are not really enough. So what we need to do, of course, we need to reduce our consumption. We need to change our lifestyle. We need to reduce our dependency to the fossil fuels and all the fossil resources, and create more kind of self-sufficient life, depending on only the resources that one planet Earth can produce every year. And change the Earth Overshoot Day again towards the 1st of January. But this is not enough. What we need to do is we need to increase the capacity of planet Earth as it was increased in the past millions of years after the introduction of life to the planet Earth. So for that reason, I just listed some of the main strategies that we need to really aim. So yes, these are now well discussed in the world of architecture and urbanism. Okay, carbon positive, water positive issues that our cities or buildings can create more carbon than they use it. But also, more importantly, soil positive, because soil is dying on this planet and we have a great amount of erosion. And also, increasing the biodiversity and flourishing the biodiversity is very important. But also, I just want to underline that this consumption of people as 1.7 is not, of course, all the people living on the planet. As just 2 days ago was announced by one research, only 20 companies produce 50% of amount of plastic that is released in the planet. So that means that, you know, the small percentage of people are really consuming all these resources, and we need to move towards more egalitarian systems, because while some people eat 10 times or 100 times more than the others or consume, there are some people still dying from hunger. In every seconds we are losing children from the hunger. So one of the main strategies that is introduced is restoring the ecosystems, and this is probably what we need to aim. But is this enough? Of course it is not. When we look at the different statistics, we just realized that how human beings became dangerous to the life of this planet. Biodiversity is one of the most important values that creates life, regenerates life in this planet, and creates resilience of life on the planet. But what we are just destroying the biodiversity. This is the number of mammals living in this planet. And as you can see here, 34% of all mammals on the planet are human beings, and 62% of them are the pets or livestock that human beings are just taking care of them. So altogether, it is 96% of all mammals on this planet are humans, or mammals belong to humans. And only 4% of the mammals on the planet remain wild. And this is really alarming condition. One of the main things that maybe in architecture and urbanism we need to question is actually we talk a lot about ethics of design, but we rarely talk about ethics of not to design. So this passion to design everything, to solve all the problems with design, is one of the problems that we have in our architecture and urban world. We need to stop designing. We need to know the restrictions that we have, and we need to stop intervening too much with the planet and with the life of humans, because design, in a way that we are doing it today, in a way that we are educated to do that, it's a very mechanistic approach. Even the language that we are using, even the drawings that we are producing, they are all industrial, very mechanistic way of approaching to planet, to life, to society, and to all the problems that we have. But we know that this mechanistic approach created loads of headaches in the past centuries to us and to the planet. So we need to stop this kind of thinking and using this kind of approaches and this kind of languages and this concepts. And we need to move towards organic thinking, to accepting that we are part of nature, and to just continue being part of nature. So one of the examples that I just wanted to highlight here is part of one of my new articles about the history of Manhattan. So what I tried to understand in this article was how before the arrival of humans in the island of Manhattan, how beavers were building their dams and they becoming part of the ecosystem of that island. So I just very briefly, if I talk about it, was, you know, these dams were permeable, so the water were passing, and these dams were used as a kind of filter. So all the topsoil from the up mountains of upstate New York were filtered here because they were washed by the rain and carried by this water. So basically, this structure were used to accumulate the topsoil in the island. And after a while, for many reasons, these beavers were leaving this area and were going and creating their dams in some other areas. And this lands remain with topsoil and the best biodiversity and microbiome and organic materials. And accordingly, the forests were flourishing from here. So many of the ecologists, they suggest that the reason that beavers are in a forest area is because of forest, but also the reason that forest is there is because of beavers. So beavers and forest are essential parts of each other. The same thing I could understand from the practices of Lenape indigenous people who were settled in Manhattan, and the way that they were creating their habitats for a very temporal area, 15 to 20 years. And that was also a practice to flourish biodiversity in Manhattan. So I will not go to the detail because the time is almost over. The last slide that I want just to emphasize on it is, instead of continuously and constantly trying to design the world and mechanistically fix it, fix ourselves, fix our societies, fix our world, what we need to do, we need to understand the pattern of life again, as indigenous people really understood it in our history, in our very long history. At the end, if we are living 300,000 years on this planet, only the past 10,000 years of it, we were an agrarian society or settled society. So we have a 290,000 years of indigenous life on this planet, which for some of us is still discontinue this understanding and this lifestyle and this way of settling on this planet. So what we need to do, we need to re-understand it, recognize its importance, and try to heal ourselves, our mindset, our societies, and our approach to the planet by just trying to re-indigenize ourselves on this planet. And in this regards, I'm afraid that architecture and urbanism cannot be really that much helpful in a way that we understood it and in a way that we are practicing it. Thank you very much.